Welcome to Glofolio. Is Ecobank a buy or sell? So in this video, I would attempt to answer that question. If this is the first time you're watching my video, kindly hit the subscription button or turn on notification bell so that whenever I release timely videos like this, you'll be able to take immediate action. There is nothing like getting early on a stock because that's where you make most money. Look at EcoBank right now. EcoBank is currently selling for 16 naira. Now, a lot of people are thinking whether are asking whether EcoBank is actually a good buy at this point, or some might think EcoBank is very expensive or the upside potential of EcoBank it's really limited. So I will attempt to answer that question in my video. So did you know that EcoBank was actually one of the stocks I recommended in my private community? So this is my private community where I share private platform where I share some of my stocks and then give you access to look at some of the stocks that I'm buying and the ones I am selling. So look at this update here. I posted this a while ago, maybe around April, June or thereabout. Now, I said the banking sector index just broke out of 473 basis points, an important key level that has been tested multiple times since November. You can see the caption mobile banking transaction in Q1 2023 went up by 505%. Here are stocks to buy now. This was before Q2 result early this year. Now, I said something again. I said the index is already up by 8.14% as of the time I posted these stock picks with the next upside projected to extend to 630. That's like 33.1%. Now, what's driving the banking sector to the moon? And then I share my take. Number one, the impressive Q1 numbers that we've seen so far, the expected release, increase in dividend payouts, interim and final, and also it was being reported that the value volume of mobile banking transaction proposed in the first quarter process, sorry, in the first quarter of 2023 increased by 160 and 505% to 9 trillion and 671 million due to naira scarcity. These three factors will continue to attract policy sentiment in the banking sector at least till year end. Now, and you have been following my carefully selected picks, you should have some of the best banking stocks in your portfolio, the ones you should trade for capital appreciation and invest for dividend income. But if you miss them, as recent subscribers, here are two stocks you can still trade. So I mentioned two banking stocks that you can still trade at that point in time. The first one I recommended First Bank. So I said this banking stock here to break out of 12.8 to 13 naira. So let's quickly look at how First Bank fared from that time. So you can see First Bank was still selling around that. You can see the region. Let's go back. First Bank was still selling around 12, I think below 12.8, and 12.8 region was around below this I think around this region 11, between 11 naira to 12 naira. You can see before the breakout First Bank has touched a high of almost 22 naira before we see a bit of pullback. So you can imagine that if you had jumped into First Bank at 12 naira 80 kobo within that period, you see how much you would have made from First Bank. So I said First Bank reported over 1,000% growth in net income. Then another stock I mentioned, which I'm going to review again, meaning that we've had a first opportunity to buy into Ecobank. So right now, do we have another opportunity on Ecobank stock? So I said if you had picked this stock at prices below 13.1, it's still a good buy. Sorry about that. If I pick the stock, sorry about that, please. So I said if you had picked the stock below 13.1, it's still a good buy. So I consider this level a breakout that may spur further growth to 20.2. Now look at my bold call on EcoBank. I said EcoBank could rally above this region to 20.2, meaning that my high expectation on EcoBank is to touch at least 20 naira, 2 kobo, 20 kobo, which is like 53% upside potential from that region. Now, let's now go back to EcoBank charts to explain what I mean by that. So, EcoBank was still selling around, you can see right here, around 11, 12. Then, and say if you can pick EcoBank below 13.2, at that point, it's still a good buy before the breakout. So we saw a final breakout of EcoBank. But right now, is EcoBank still a buy at 16 naira? So is Ecobank still a buy? So let's go back and then do our top-down analysis of Ecobank and then why I think that Ecobank still has some good upside potential because in the recommendations I posted in my private community, I already made a call that Ecobank might rally to 20.2. Some of us have taken position on Ecobank and we're still holding Ecobank from 13 naira. So even though along the line we tend to take profit because you can't predict the state of the market, but we still have some units on Ecobank that are because we're still betting on EcoBank rallying higher. So let's do a top-down analysis of EcoBank. So how do we start our top-down analysis of EcoBank? So first, I like to look at the key levels of each of the stock. Now, like I said, if you follow my analysis, if you follow my community, you can't hear me talk about stock without mentioning key level. It's key. In short, that's the secret of becoming profitable in the stock market. Key level will tell you regions where buyers and sellers are most likely going to be fighting. And if buyers take over the market, that means price will rally higher. If sellers take over the market, price will dip. So you need to be able to mark regions in the market. And this region must have been respected in the past. That's something I like about key regions. So first, let's look at EcoBank on charts. Look at how EcoBank had actually rallied since February 2012 to that's from February 2012 to 2015. EcoBank moved from 10 naira to reach a high of 25 naira. That's almost 100%. And then we saw a huge dip from that region down to 7.5. So 7.5 became an important key level. And then from EcoBank rallied between 2017 to 2018 from 6 to 7 naira to reach a high of 20 naira. So this also became a key level. Now this key level also matches this. This key level has been tested before in September 2014. Now EcoBank pulled back from that region 20 naira to reach a low of 3.93. You can see between 2018 to 2023, that's like 2 years, EcoBank lost significantly from that level. And then this also marks another key level right now. Now, if you start from the bottom, you will see that EcoBank actually showed a double bottom formation right here, which signal the end of a rally. Whenever you see a stock go down, a stock has been down for a long time, and it tends to bounce back twice from the same key level at the bottom. It's a sign that very soon the sell-off might be over. So we saw how that played out on EcoBank shares. EcoBank first touched 3 to 4 naira, bounced back again, bounced up, sorry, to 5.7, then lost another momentum down to the same level. What does that mean? It means that accumulation on EcoBank started at this region. That's why price was not able to break 3 naira to 4 naira downward. So meaning that buyers stepped in at this point to start accumulating EcoBank. So EcoBank accumulation started from May 2020, and then you can see how price has rallied from there after a double bottom formation to 7 naira. And then EcoBank went down again. So, but couldn't touch the year low. So buyers were able to enter. So that means the price between 5 naira 90 kobo and also 3.9 to 4 naira is considered area of accumulation. Area of accumulation is where fund managers, heavy volume buyers have actually stepped in to mop in that stock. That's why the stock is not able to break down. So this might also be a point of absorption where a buy order in the market is able to absorb all the sellers. That means as sellers are dumping their unit, this particular volume is able to mop up that shares. And whenever you have absorption in the market, price tends to stabilize. So that's what this region means. So you can see EcoBank had rallied from that point to another. But notice one thing, that in each of the key levels that I've marked here, why some are resistance, others are support, EcoBank had actually climbed each of these key level gradually since 2020. So the first point, you can see the first key level right here before pullback. Although anytime it approaches each of the key level, it tends to break out at once. Some it will have to pull back a little bit before it breaks out. But the moment it breaks out, it moves to the next key level immediately. So look at how EcoBank broke out this particular key level at this point. Although the first breakout of key level started in October 2020, it broke out from 5 naira 85 kobo to reach 6 naira, and then we saw a bit of pullback, and then back into accumulation region. But then we saw buyers stepping again, and it broke out of not just this 6 naira key level, it also broke out of 7 naira, which means it went straight from 7 naira to reach a high of 9 naira, which is another key level to watch out for. Now, on breaking out of this 9 naira again, you can see how Ecobank approached the next key level of 13 naira. And this 13 naira had acted as support in May 2016, and then it also acted as support between May 2013 to May 2014. You can see for almost a year how this stock actually acted, this particular region acted as key level right now, which stretches into the future. So you can see how EcoBank approached the same key level, and then what happened? Buyers stepped in again to sellers stepped in, sorry, to dump some units, and then eventually buyers were able to win over at the bottom of the market. Which so that means that at 9.95, EcoBank buyers took over EcoBank shares and then was able to move it up again. Now look at what is happening right now. EcoBank has just broken out of 13.1 key level. So we saw a breakout of the first key level, we saw another breakout of second key level, we saw another breakout of third key level, sorry, and then we're seeing a breakout of the fourth key level, which is 13. Now, the significance of this 13 is that it's been tested once, it's been tested again. Now, if you go back to the past, it has acted as key level, which is support in 2013. Now, you see how EcoBank eventually broke out of that key level in June 2023. And in that single month, EcoBank delivered 23%, 23.6% return. And now, if you go by what has been happening right now, anytime the stock breaks out of a key level, it tends to rally higher to the next key level. So, what is the next key level after 13? The next key level after 13 should be sitting around 20.2, 20.3. That's why I said that EcoBank will likely touch 20.2 or 20.3, which is the next key level that the stock might likely operate. So that means bearing all circumstances that are actually behind the up and down movement of the stock, there is a major level the stock needs to touch before we can see institutional activities or institutional players. And that's where we'll most likely be expecting massive sell-off on the stock. And then if the stock is able to break out, then most stock will most likely rally higher. But here, my target is to look at the stock breaking out from one key level into another. And that's the best time to probably buy the stock when it has just completed a breakout from one key level and then is rallying higher to the next key level. And then if the stock is backed up by solid fundamentals and financials, then you most likely be playing the stock market in the right way. So EcoBank broke out. Now, in between that period, we saw how the stock paused in movement, but overall sentiment remains bullish. Now, another way to gauge for the trend of this market is the higher low, higher high formation. You can see right here after the bottom, we have the first low, which was higher than the previous low, and then the stock moved to a new high. Now, this high is higher than the previous high. We saw another dip. This low is higher than the previous low. Then from there, the stock rallied to a new high. So what happened is that when there's a formation of higher high, higher low on the chart, it signals a long-term uptrend. And if you look at EcoBank, EcoBank has been on a long-term uptrend since 2020. So that means that 3 years ago, the stock has been a long-term uptrend for like 3 years, which is a long time. So it means that long-term investors have been they have been bullish on this particular company stock. So my fair value estimate on EcoBank is around 20 naira. How did I arrive at the fair value estimate of EcoBank? So let's look at the financials of EcoBank. So if you go to NGS website and then you want to open the financials of EcoBank, now you would see that this is Q2 results. So let's also pull out Q full year 2022 audited result for 2022. Yes. So we want to find the trailing 12 month. If you've watched my analysis of GTB, which I'll also be posting more analysis on other company stock. I like to look at the fair value of a stock. The fair value of a stock is what I think the stock should be fairly valued at. Do you understand? That's what I think should be the moderate price or a stock that I considered fair or attractive for anybody to mop up the company's shares. And if the company is currently selling at a price far below that level, then it means that the stock is grossly undervalued. And I like to buy fundamentally sound oversold stock or undervalued oversold stocks that are undervalued, which has a mix of both technical and fundamental. I'm not a fundamental analyst, sorry. I'm not a technical analyst. I am hybrid. I mix both together. I'm not in this market to be right. I'm only in this market to actually make money. That's the point. So I combine both fundamental and technical. When they tell me that a stock is grossly undervalued and oversold or emerging from the bottom, that's the perfect time to pick the company stock. So this is Ecobank. Now in 2022, let's look at the full year result of Ecobank in 2022. So that's what we're trying to get from here. So this is Ecobank full year results in 2022. So I'm interested in the Naira equivalent of that report, not NGN. Okay. So this is the full year result of Ecobank. You can see here December at end of 2022. So I'm looking for the EPS of Ecobank as at 2022, as at December 2022. So let's see if we can find the EPS of Ecobank, the earnings per share. So this is, you can see here, all in Kobo. So earnings per share went from 435 to 495. That's 4 naira 35 kobo to 4 naira 97 kobo. So that is the full year 2022. So the latest EcoBank result basically is at Q2, that second half of 2023. So this is second half of 2023 for EcoBank. You can see here, this is second half 2023 of EcoBank. Yes. So this is second half. You can see second half, EcoBank is doing 300, naira 19 kobo against 2 naira 20 kobo, which is already up by 45%. So that means the EPS of EcoBank as at second quarter 2022, when you look at the half year 2023, is already 45% more than what they did last year. That's second half of 2022. Now, we want to look for earnings per share trailing 12 months, which is the last four quarterly result. Now, we already know the last two quarter. The last two quarter is 3.19. Now, we want to ascertain the last two quarter in 2022. Now, if the first two quarter in 2022 is 220.927, and then the full year of 2022 is 497.247. So it's easy. Just for us to subtract the first two quarter of 2022 from the full year 2022. That will give us the last two quarter of 2022. So that will be 497.247 minus. So I'll do 497.247 minus 220.927. So that means that the second half of EcoBank is 276. Second half of 2022 is 276. So when you add the first half of 2023 to the second half of 2022, it gives you trailing 12 months, which is the last four quarter. Like I said, trailing 12 months is when you add the last four quarterly result of the company, starting with the recent quarter. So 276.32 plus the current half, which is 319.265. 319 0.265. So that will give us 5.95. Sorry, 5.95. So automatically we can say that Ecobank trailing 12 month right now is 5 naira 95 kobo, which is 595 kobo. So 5 naira 95 kobo. That is Ecobank um, trailing 12 month EPS. Now, how do we value Ecobank stock? Like I said, to value Ecobank stock, first I want to look at FGN bond yield. FGM bond yield. So FGM bond yield, as at the time I recorded this video, is around 14.5. So 14.5 is what you're going to collect if you invest that money. Do you understand? In a risk-free asset, 14.5, a risk-free asset. So if I'm not going to put that money in stock, we should be looking at a return that is far higher than 14.5, because if a risk-free asset is going to give me 14.5. I cannot put my money in a stock market where I'm going to earn the same return, because the stock market has its own risk. So that means I have to factor in a risk premium. Now, here's my extreme way. I want to be extreme and I want to be aggressive. Now, here's my extreme way to analyze this kind of company stock. Now, I can say, okay, if a risk-free asset is giving me 14.5, so that means that if I'm going to take on a risky asset, well, I can probably go for twice the return of this particular risk-free rate, or I can add a risk premium. So my risk premium of 10 to 12% plus 14.5. So 10 plus 14.5 will give me an average of 24. So if I go with 25% discount rate or 25% return from stock, I think I will be fair to have applied that return. So to value EcoBank stock, I would then say 5.95 divided by 0.25. So that means EcoBank stock should be fairly valued at 23 naira. 23 naira. So, but like I said, this is a fair value calculation. I don't want to be too optimistic about EcoBank stock. So, to be fair for me to look at the previous key level of EcoBank, which is around 20, because even though the recent high, the last high or all-time high of EcoBank or year high is around 22. So, it would be fair for me to put EcoBank stock to be around 20 or 22 naira. So if I go with 20 naira target, I'll be fair because it actually coincides with my fair value calculation of EcoBank. And that means when you factor in the trailing 12 month EPS of 5 naira 35 kobo to the 25% discount rate. So it means that as a short-term trader, EcoBank should be fairly valued at 23 naira. But I'll have to be fair to go with what 20 naira. So I am not someone who wants to be too optimistic about the company and say, oh, EcoBank will get the EcoBank. I'd like to use technical analysis to confirm my fair value calculation on a stock. So if my technical analysis is telling me that EcoBank has just broken out of a key level of 13 naira, and based on my key level analysis, EcoBank should be going to 20 naira, which is the previous high. Now, looking at the fair value calculation and have seen both fair value calculation and technical analysis saying the same thing, that means EcoBank is a strong buy. EcoBank is actually a strong buy. If you check EcoBank's recent quarterly results, it was impressive. From the interest income to profit before tax, profit after tax, everything came out impressive. They came out well. So that means that EcoBank stock is actually a strong buy when you look at the fundamental case to back up your analysis and also a technical analysis to support my bullish case or bullish momentum on EcoBank. So for me to have mentioned EcoBank as a buy early enough and then pick the stock at a price below 13.1, it means I actually saw the opportunity ahead and are able to key into EcoBank stock right now. So even at 16 naira, I still consider EcoBank stock a strong buy. However, if you're going to be buying EcoBank stock, you also need to be very careful and make sure that your risk level on this stock is not actually too high. Because when you're buying a stock, you need to consider your downside risk against upside potential. So what is the downside risk of EcoBank? It means that if EcoBank pulls back, you have 13 naira as a support region to watch out for. You have 13 naira as a support region to watch out for. So 3 divided by 16 will give me average of 18%. So if you're going to buy EcoBank, you need to consider this as a key risk on EcoBank. So for someone that is asking whether I should key into EcoBank, my question is, are you able to put 18% risk on the online to be able to get an average of 4 naira divided by 16? That's what 25%. So if this kind of risk reward ratio makes sense to you, then Ecobank will likely be a buy. But if it doesn't make sense to you, then you can probably stay out of the stock right now, because as it is, you can see the stock is already at the middle, meaning that risk to reward ratio are almost very close. But however, the return seems to be a lot more higher than the risk, going by the calculation and also the estimate and the fact that the company had reported good numbers. So if Ecobank is able to surprise the market in Q3 and Q4, then we should see Ecobank stock trade close to 20 naira by year end. So that's my fair value analysis, and that's my own personal take on Echo Bank. I may be wrong, but my analysis basically is based on technical and fundamental. So if you have a contrary opinion, if you own Echo Bank, let me know in the comment section. And then if you think Echo Bank will likely touch 20 naira, also let me know what your own reason is. And if you think that, oh, there are other reasons that might probably drag Echo Bank downward, or you think Echo Bank is already high, I would also be glad enough to get feedback from you.